My name is Jessica, and at 27 years old, I was cleaning the kitchen when my boyfriend, Ronald, 31, walked in and dropped his wine glass into the sink. It shattered. He looked at the mess, shrugged, and started walking away as if nothing had happened. "Hey, are you going to clean that up?" I asked. Ronald turned around, annoyed. "I'll get to it later. There's broken glass in the sink." "Yeah, I'm doing the dishes." "Then do them later." This was Ronald in his usual style. We had been together for 2.5 years, living together for 1. The disrespect had been building for months, leaving messes everywhere, talking down to me in front of people, flirting with other women right in front of me, treating my home like a hotel. "Ronald, please just clean this up. It takes 2 seconds. He rolled his eyes. "Oh my God, you're so dramatic." I sighed. He grabbed 2 pieces of glass, tossed them in the trash, and left the rest. "Seriously?" Then Ronald spun around, hands on his hips, and delivered the line that would end everything. "You know what? This is who I am. Take it or leave it. I'm not changing for anyone." I looked at him, really looked, standing there in the clothes I bought, in the house I paid for, with that smug expression as if he had just dropped some profound wisdom. "Okay," I said calmly. "I'll leave it." He faltered. "What?" I dried my hands on the dish towel and walked to the bedroom, starting to pull his clothes out of the closet. "What are you doing?" Ronald followed, voice higher than usual. "Packing your things? Packing mine? Are you serious right now?" "Absolutely serious." I grabbed the suitcase from the top shelf, the one I had bought for our Miami trip last year, and started folding his clothes neatly, placing them inside. "Ronald, stop. I didn't mean—" "You're overreacting to a broken glass?" "No, I'm reacting to the months of disrespect culminating in you telling me this is who you are." He stood there, mouth opening and closing like a fish. I moved efficiently. Clothes from the dresser, shoes from the closet, jewelry from the nightstand. "You can't kick me out. I live here. You have to leave. Your name isn't on the lease, the mortgage, or any bills. You're a guest who's overstayed. Where am I supposed to go?" "That's your problem. You have plenty of friends you're always running off with instead of spending time with me. Call one of them." I moved to the bathroom, packing his 17 different face creams and serums, the ones he bought with my credit card without asking. "This is illegal. You have to give me 30 days. Only if you're a tenant. You pay no rent, get no mail here, and aren't on any documents. You're a guest." Ronald tried a different tactic. Tears. "Baby, please, let's talk. I love you." "If this is how you treat someone you love, I hate to think how you treat your enemies." I zipped up the suitcase, grabbed the garbage bags with his stuff, and headed to the living room. Ronald trailed behind, alternating between anger and manipulation. "You're going to regret this." "I was just stressed from work." "My friends were right about you." "Don't do this. You're being childish." I placed his things by the door and pulled out my phone. "You can call someone to pick you up, or I can call you an Uber. Your choice." "I'm not leaving. This is my home too." "No, it's not. And if you refuse to leave, I'll call the police and have you removed for trespassing." He stared at me, probably trying to figure out if I was bluffing. I wasn't. I was done. Done with the disrespect, the entitlement, the attitude. "Fine." Ronald grabbed at his phone. "Cassidy, come get me. My girlfriend is having some kind of mental breakdown." 20 minutes later, his best friend Cassidy arrived. As Ronald dragged his stuff outside, he looked back one last time. "You're making the biggest mistake of your life. No one else will put up with you like I did." "Put up with me? I paid for everything while you treated me like garbage. But yes, no one else will tolerate that. That's why you're leaving." He slammed the door. I went back to the kitchen, carefully cleaned up the remaining broken glass, and finished the dishes in peace. For the first time in months, I smiled while cleaning. But this was just the beginning. Ronald had gotten very comfortable with the lifestyle I provided. He was about to learn what "this is who I am" really costs when the person funding your life takes you at your word. 72 hours later. The escalation of entitlement was swift and predictable. Ronald had spent 2.5 years getting comfortable with a lifestyle he contributed nothing to. Reality hit differently when the bank of girlfriend closed. Day 1. The realization. The morning after I kicked him out, the text started. 7:23 a.m. "My card got declined at Starbucks. What did you do?" Of course, he had been an authorized user on my credit card. Removed him that same night. "Hello? Fix this now. This is financial abuse. Are you really going to leave me stranded with no money?" I didn't respond, but I checked the credit card activity. The man had been spending $400 to $500 a month on coffee, brunches, and random shopping. My coffee maker at home apparently wasn't good enough. Day 2, the social media spin. By the second day, Ronald had crafted his victim narrative on Instagram. Posts about how toxic women can't handle independent men, sleeping on couches, but at least I'm free. He really kicked me out for being myself. The audacity. Friends ate it up. Comments flooded in about knowing your worth and toxic femininity. But then something interesting happened. My friend Marcus's girlfriend Jade was in Ronald's comments and she had receipts. Jade posted, "Jessica, didn't you literally brag last week about how he pays for everything while you save your money?" Jessica deleted the comment. Jade screenshot it first and sent it to the group chat. Day 2, afternoon. Got a call from Verizon. Ronald was trying to transfer his line off my family plan to his own account. Problem? He needed to pay off the iPhone 14 Pro Max I had bought him. Balance? $847. He couldn't afford it. He called crying. "Please, just let me transfer the line. I'll pay you back." "When have you ever paid me back for anything?" "I'll start now, I promise." "No, then what am I supposed to do? Get your own phone plan with your own phone? I can't afford a new phone." "Then you should have thought about that before telling me to take it or leave it." He hung up. An hour later, he was tweeting from Cassidy's phone about controlling exes who weaponize finances. Day 3, the job reality. Here's what Ronald didn't want people to know. He worked 15 hours a week at a yoga studio, not teaching, just checking people in. Minimum wage plus free classes. Total monthly income maybe $600. His lifestyle included weekly manicures $80, monthly hair appointments $200 plus, Pilates membership $150, shopping sprees $500, dining out constantly $600 plus, all funded by yours truly, while he saved his pittance for emergencies, aka music festivals with his friends. Day 3, his boss at the yoga studio called me. I was still his emergency contact. "Hi, is this about Ronald? Is he okay?" "He's fine, but he listed you as a reference for a pay advance. We don't typically do those." "A reference for a pay advance? That's creative." "No, I can't vouch for that. He seems stressed lately." Stressed was one word for it. By the evening of day 3, staying with Cassidy was already going south. Cassidy lived in a studio apartment with her boyfriend. 3 adults in 500 square feet wasn't working. Ronald called from Cassidy's phone. "I need to come get more of my stuff." "What stuff?" "I packed everything. My hair tools, supplements, all in the bags you gave me." "Well, I need my yoga mat." "Then the one I bought?" "No, it's mine. Receipt says otherwise." "You're being petty." "I'm being factual. You said this is who I am about someone who leaves broken glass for others to clean up. I'm just maintaining boundaries with who you are." Cassidy's boyfriend grabbed the phone. "Bro, can he just get the mat? He's driving us crazy here." "Not my problem, Brad. He made his choice." 3 more days of this. Before hanging up, Ronald's parents, who lived 3 hours away, called. We'd met a few times. Nice people, but clearly puzzled by their son's entitlement. His mom, Deb, "Ezra, honey, what happened?" Ronald said, "You threw me out over a wine glass. That was just the final straw. I've been disrespected for months, left messes everywhere, treated like an ATM." Silence. Then his dad, Grant, sounded familiar. "That's why he can't move back here." Deb scolded. "What? It's true. He lived with someone after college and did the same thing. We're not doing that again." Even his parents had boundaries. By the end of day 3, Ronald was already fishing for a new meal ticket. Posted a thirst trap on Instagram, a bikini pic from our Miami trip, the one I had paid for, with the caption, "Ready for my next chapter." Within hours, he was DMing with some crypto bro named Chase, who'd been lurking in his likes. My friend Jerome sent me screenshots. Chase was inviting him to dinner, offering to treat him like a king. Good luck, Chase. Hope you've got deep pockets and no self-respect. Current status after 72 hours. Homeless, couch surfing, phoneless, can't afford to pay off the iPhone, broke. That $600 a month doesn't stretch far. Desperate, already hunting for the next sucker. Still posting about being a bad guy who knows his worth. Meanwhile, I deep cleaned my house. Amazing how clean it stays when one person isn't actively destroying it. Saved $1,670 in 3 days by not funding his lifestyle. Slept better than I have in months. Started therapy to figure out why I tolerated this for so long. The wine glass wasn't the issue. It was the symbol of everything. Carelessness, disrespect, expectation that I'd always clean up his messes, literal and figurative. He was right about one thing. That is who he is, and I'm grateful he finally admitted it. 2 weeks later, the descent from entitled man to harsh reality was faster than a crypto crash. Once the couch surfing welcome wore off and the Instagram facade cracked, Ronald's true situation became apparent to everyone. He lasted exactly 5 days at Cassidy's place. The breaking point came when he brought Chase, the so-called crypto bro, back to the studio apartment at 2:00 a.m. on a Tuesday. Cassidy and her boyfriend Brad were trying to sleep in the tiny 500-square-foot space. Brad lost it. "You've got 1 hour to pack and get out." Cassidy tried to defend her friend until Ronald said, "It's not my fault. You two are too poor for a real apartment." Cassidy's response? She threw Ronald's bags into the hallway and deadbolted the door. After burning that bridge, Ronald had no choice but to call his parents. Deb, frustrated, said, "He wants to move home, but refuses to follow our rules. No overnight guests, get a full-time job, pay rent. He says we're being financially abusive. Where did we go wrong?" "You didn't, Deb. He just never faced consequences before. Maybe it's too late to stop, but you held firm," I thought. Ronald couldn't move home without agreeing to their terms. He refused. Chase seemed like his golden ticket, drove at least a BMW, talked big about NFT investments, posted hustle culture quotes. They went on 3 dates. Date 1, fancy steakhouse. Chase paid. Ronald posted about being treated like a king. Date 2, rooftop bar. Chase forgot his wallet. Ronald had to pay with his last $47. Date 3, Chase invited him to his penthouse, which was actually his mom's basement. The BMW was his mom's. Crypto fortune down 97%. Still, Ronald stayed the night because he had nowhere else to go. With no phone, limited computer access, and spotty employment history, Ronald's job search wasn't going well. Retail stores wanted full availability. He could only work around his yoga studio schedule. Office jobs required experience he didn't have. Restaurants wanted reliability. His references cited chronic lateness. He applied to 30-plus jobs, got 2 interviews, showed up to one in clubwear because that's all he had at Chase's place, didn't get callbacks. Instagram told a different story. Week 1, living my best life. Week 2, anyone know of job openings? Management roles only. Week 3, why is rent so expensive? This economy sucks. Likes dwindled. Comments stopped. Even his flying monkeys went quiet when he started posting Cash App requests for help a guy out. Day 10, Ronald showed up at my door at 11 p.m. in an Uber he couldn't afford. "We need to talk," he announced. "No, we don't. Please leave." "I'm not leaving until you hear me out. Just 5 minutes, please." I started to close the door. He wedged his foot in it. "I know I messed up, okay? I was stressed and took it out on you, but we had something special. We had me paying for everything while you disrespected me. That's not special. I'll change. I'll get a real job. I'll be better." "Ronald, you told me who you are. I believed you. Go be that person somewhere else." "Where? I have nowhere to go. Chase's mom kicked me out. My parents won't help. Cassidy blocked me. I'm sleeping in the yoga studio." And the Uber driver honked. "Lady, are you coming back? Meter's running." "I don't have any money," he wailed. I pulled out my phone. "I'll add a tip if you leave with her now." The driver guided him away and he screamed, "You're heartless. I hope you're happy. You ruined my life." "No, Ronald. You ruined your own life when you decided basic respect was optional." His boss at the yoga studio, Kim, called me the next day. "I'm sorry to bother you, but did Ronald live with you until 2 weeks ago?" "Yes. He's been sleeping in the studio. I can't have that. I have to let him go." "That's unfortunate for him." She said, "You made him homeless over broken glass." I explained. I ended the relationship after months of disrespect, culminating in him telling me, "This is who I am," when asked to clean up broken glass he left in my sink. It made sense. He left the studio a mess every shift. Even his $600 a month income was gone. By day 14, unemployed, homeless, actually homeless, not couch surfing, blocked by most friends after asking for money, parents requiring therapy and full-time employment to move home, posted a GoFundMe that raised $23 from his mom, DM'd random people on Instagram, offering to be a live-in boyfriend. Meanwhile, I hired a cleaning service with the money I saved from not funding his lifestyle. Started dating Andrew, who insisted on splitting the bill on our first date, got promoted at work. Turns out I'm more focused without constant drama. Felt peace in my own home for the first time in months. Yesterday, I got a notification that someone tried to reset my Netflix password, then Hulu, then HBO Max. Ronald was desperately trying to access streaming services to watch from wherever he was squatting. I changed all my passwords and security questions, removed his email from everything. Got one last text from a random number. I hope you're happy, living in a shelter because of you. This is who I am. Remember someone you threw away like garbage? I didn't respond, but I thought, no, Ronald, you threw away a good relationship because you couldn't do the bare minimum of human decency. You thought this is who I am was a flex instead of a warning. You were right about one thing. It is who you are, and that's exactly why you're where you are. 1 month later, the conclusion of Ronald's story was exactly what you'd expect from someone who proudly declared, "This is who I am," while being absolutely terrible. Actions have consequences. After his last desperate text, Ronald ended up in a women's shelter, not for long. He was kicked out after a week for refusing to do assigned chores, stealing another resident's phone charger, bringing a man into the facility against the rules, and telling staff they were beneath him. The shelter director, Carmen, knew my cousin who volunteered there. Small world. She said in 20 years, she had never seen someone fumble free housing and job placement assistance purely out of arrogance. Desperate times, desperate measures. Ronald joined a sugar baby website, creating a profile claiming he was a yoga instructor and entrepreneur looking for a generous gentleman who appreciated luxury. Problem? The actual sugar daddies on the site were businessmen who could spot BS instantly. He got 3 meets. Guy 1 asked about his business. He couldn't explain what he actually did. The man left before appetizers. Guy 2 Googled him during dinner, found his Instagram begging for money, paid for his own meal, and left. Guy 3 turned out to be married. His wife showed up at the restaurant. Chaos ensued. Ronald got banned. Week 3, he found Dexter, 45, divorced, lonely, and apparently blind to red flags. Met him at a gas station while asking people for gas money. Dexter rescued him. Ronald moved into Dexter's condo within 3 days of meeting him, started posting couple pics immediately. Sometimes your king comes when you least expect it. My friend Terrence, who lived in the same complex, kept me updated. Ronald trashed Dexter's place within days. Had loud parties while Dexter was at work. Dexter bought him a new phone. Android, not iPhone. Ronald complained publicly. He was already flirting with his neighbor. Ronald's parents reached out one last time. They'd been in therapy themselves, working through enabling patterns. Grant, we wanted to thank you. Actually me? Deb asked. For showing us we weren't helping him by always bailing him out. He needed to face consequences. We've told him therapy and a job are non-negotiable if he wants our help. He refused. They sounded sad, but resolved. Sometimes loving someone means letting them hit rock bottom. Here's the speed run of events. Day 5, I asked him to clean up after himself. He gave me the "this is who I am" speech. Day 8, I found out he wasn't working, wasn't looking for work, and was using my credit card without permission. Day 11, I came home early and found him in bed with my neighbor. He tried to gaslight me. We never said we were exclusive. Day 14, I asked him to leave. He refused, claiming tenant rights. Day 16, I formally evicted him. Day 17, he called the cops claiming domestic violence. They reviewed security footage, which showed him as the aggressor. He threw a plate at me. He got arrested instead. Remember that arrest? Ronald had a warrant from an unpaid ticket from the previous year, one I had offered to pay, but he said he'd handle it. He didn't. Now he faced assault charges, the plate throwing, filing a false police report, and the warrant. Bail was set at $20,500. He had $347 in his account. He called me from jail. Please, I know you hate me, but I need help. I'll pay you back. With what money, Ronald? I'll get a job, I promise. Please, it's scary in here. You know what was truly scary? Living with someone who had zero respect for me or my home. Good luck, please, I thought silently. He served 5 days. Charges were reduced. Time served. He got out to find Dexter had packed his stuff and left it at the shelter. The shelter wouldn't take him back. His parents still required therapy and employment. Every bridge thoroughly burned. Last I heard through the grapevine, he was living in a sketchy motel, paid week to week, working at a car wash, the only place that didn't check references. Still posting about being a boss man between shifts, deeming every man who liked his photos, telling people I ruined his life over nothing. It had been a month since that wine glass shattered in my sink. In that time, I saved over $2,000 from not funding his lifestyle. Deep cleaned and reorganized my entire house. Started seeing Andrew regularly. He cooked me dinner last night. Got commended at work for increased productivity. Felt actual peace in my own home. Andrew asked about my ex recently. I told him the whole story. Her response? So he really looked you in the eye and said, "This is who I am." While being awful, that's like a bank robber saying, "I'm a thief. Deal with it," and being shocked when they get arrested. This morning, 1 year after we first met, Ronald sent one last message from someone else's phone. "I know you'll never forgive me, but I wanted you to know I'm in therapy now. Court ordered. I realized I was toxic and entitled. I took you for granted. I thought being real meant being selfish. I was wrong. You deserved better. I hope you found it." Did I respond? No. Do I believe he's changed? Also no. Court-ordered therapy isn't growth, it's consequence management, but I do hope he figures it out. Not for me, but for whoever he dates next. Maybe the next woman won't tolerate 2.5 years of disrespect before walking away. As for me, I'm sitting in my clean kitchen with no broken glass in the sink, making dinner for someone who appreciates effort and reciprocates respect. Someone who would never dream of saying, "This is who I am," as an excuse for bad behavior. Life's good when you take people at their word and act accordingly. Thanks for following this journey. Remember, you're not asking too much by expecting basic human decency. You're just asking the wrong person. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a drama-free evening to enjoy.